Beginning English class, lesson 98. Welcome to my Beginning English as a Second Language class. This is lesson 98 in an ongoing ESL class that I teach at Mount Hood Community College in Gresham, Oregon. Thank you for watching. Verbs. To be. The past tense of the verb to be was or were. The present tense of the verb to be is, am, or are. There is no continuous tense form of the verb to be. To be is an irregular verb. The past participle of the verb to be is been. To walk is a regular verb. The past tense, walked. The continuous tense, walking. The past participle, since walk is a regular verb, is the same as the past tense, walked. To study is a regular verb. The past tense, studied. The continuous tense, studying. Because it's a regular verb, the past participle is the same as the past tense, studied. To live is a regular verb. The past tense, lived. The continuous tense, living. And because it's a regular verb, the past participle is the same as the past tense, lived. Present perfect continuous tense, have or has, plus the past participle, been, plus the continuous form of the verb. For example, I have been living in Portland for 1 year. He has been living in Portland for 1 year. Present perfect tense, have or has, plus the past participle. I have been living in Portland for 1 year is present perfect continuous tense. I have lived in Portland for 1 year is present perfect tense. Present perfect continuous tense, he has been living in Portland for 1 year. Present perfect tense, he has lived in Portland for 1 year. Present perfect continuous, he has been living in Portland for 1 year. Present perfect, he has lived in Portland for 1 year. The arrow points to the answer. Try to ask the question. Who has been living in Portland for 1 year? Who has lived in Portland for 1 year? Where has he been living? Where has he lived? How long has he been living in Portland? How long has he lived in Portland? I have been walking in the park for 1 hour. I have walked in the park for 1 hour. Who has been walking in the park? Who has walked in the park? Where have you been walking? Where have you walked? How long have you been walking in the park? How long have you walked in the park? We have been studying English for 1 hour. We have studied English for 1 hour. Who has been studying English? Who has studied English? What have you been studying? What have you studied? How long have you been studying English? How long have you studied English? Present continuous tense. I am living in Portland now. Who is living in Portland now? Where are you living now? Past tense. I lived in Seattle before I lived in Portland. Notice in the question that I changes to they. So the question, who lived in Seattle before they lived in Portland? Who lived in Seattle before they lived in Portland? Where did you live before you lived in Portland? When did you live in Seattle? What's the answer? The answer, before I lived in Portland. Where did you live after you lived in Seattle? Where did you live after you lived in Seattle? I lived in Portland. I lived in Los Angeles before I lived in Seattle. Who lived in Los Angeles before they lived in Seattle? Where did you live before you lived in Seattle? What's the question? When did you live in Los Angeles? The answer, before I lived in Seattle. What's the question? Where did you live after you lived in Los Angeles? Where did you live after you lived in Los Angeles? Where are you living? In Portland. Where have you lived? Where have you lived? Present perfect. In Seattle? In Los Angeles? Where have you been living? I have been living in Portland for 1 year. How long have you been living in Portland? Where have you lived? I have lived in Seattle and Los Angeles. Present perfect tense. Who has lived in Seattle and Los Angeles? Where did you live before Portland? I lived in Seattle. Have you lived in Los Angeles? Yes, I have. Did you live in Los Angeles? Yes, I did. I lived in Los Angeles 10 years ago. Who lived in Los Angeles 10 years ago? Where did you live 10 years ago? When did you live in Los Angeles? Present continuous tense. Who is studying English at school? What's he doing at school? What's he studying at school? Where's he studying English? Is he studying English at school? Future tense. He will study English at school tomorrow. Who'll study English at school tomorrow? What'll he do at school tomorrow? What'll he study at school tomorrow? Where'll he study English tomorrow? When'll he study English at school? Will he study English at school tomorrow? Present tense. He studies English at school every Monday. Who studies English at school every Monday? What does he do at school every Monday? What does he study at school every Monday? Where does he study English every Monday? When does he study English at school? Does he study English at school every Monday? Past tense. He studied English at school yesterday. Who studied English at school yesterday? What did he do at school yesterday? What did he study at school yesterday? Where did he study English yesterday? When did he study English at school? Did he study English at school yesterday? Past continuous. He was studying English at home yesterday. Who was studying English at home yesterday? What was he doing at home yesterday? What was he studying at home yesterday? Where was he studying English yesterday? When was he studying English at home? Was he studying English at home yesterday? Future continuous. He will be studying English at school tomorrow. Who will be studying English at school tomorrow? What will he be doing at school tomorrow? What will he be studying at school tomorrow? Where will he be studying English tomorrow? When will he be studying English at school? Will he be studying English at school tomorrow? Present perfect continuous. He has been studying English for 1 hour. Who has been studying English for 1 hour? What has he been doing for 1 hour? What has he been studying for 1 hour? How long has he been studying English? Has he been studying English for 1 hour? Present perfect. He has studied English in Vietnam. Who has studied English in Vietnam? What has he studied in Vietnam? Where has he studied English? Has he studied English in Vietnam? The verb to cook. Present tense, cook. Continuous, cooking. Past tense, cooked. Because it's a regular verb, the past participle is also cooked. Present continuous tense, she is cooking dinner in the kitchen. Who is cooking dinner in the kitchen? What is she cooking in the kitchen? Where is she cooking dinner? Past tense. She started cooking 2 hours ago. What's the verb? The verb started. Who started cooking 2 hours ago? When did she start cooking? Present perfect continuous. She has been cooking. She has been cooking dinner for 2 hours. How long has she been cooking dinner? Who has been cooking dinner for 2 hours? What has she been cooking for 2 hours? What has she been doing for 2 hours? Present perfect tense. She has cooked dinner. Who has cooked dinner? What has she cooked? Verb, to do. Present tense, do. Continuous tense, doing. Past tense, did. The verb to do is irregular, so the past participle is done. Past tense, she cooked dinner. Question: what did she do? She cooks dinner. Present tense. What does she do? Present continuous tense. She is cooking dinner. What is she doing? Future tense. She will cook dinner. What will she do? Present perfect continuous. She has been cooking dinner for 2 hours. What has she been doing for 2 hours? She has cooked dinner. What has she done? She has cooked. What has she done? She has cooked dinner. Present perfect continuous tense. From the past to now. What has she been doing? Cooking. She has been cooking dinner. Present perfect. From the past to now, not cooking. What has she done? She has cooked dinner. Who has been cooking dinner? Who has cooked dinner? What has she been doing? What has she done? What has she been cooking? What has she cooked? This is the end of Beginning English Class Lesson 98. Thank you for watching.